it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my 2020 experience as well as the topic on friends and people and just others in general. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So what I meant by talking about people and friends and my 2020 experience, I wanted to share with you guys how this year has kind of been for me. I've always been that type of person that will put on a smile and laugh all day, and I could be going through the worst time in my day or the worst time in my life, and no one will notice because I'm putting on a different face. There are many people who do that, and I don't think that is a healthy thing to do. So let's just hop right into the story. It's not really like a long story, it's just kind of my experience, because if you just talk to me and I would tell you all the good things that happened this year, I wouldn't tell you, like if we were talking about life, I wouldn't tell you the bad things that has happened. So I wanted to talk to you guys and tell you some of the things that I've learned this year and just my whole experience. So let's hop right into January of 2020. At the beginning, I was really focused on myself and focused on God and everything. And then I turned 13. And obviously when you turn into your teenage years, kind of life hits you and you're all over the place, you're a mess. And I didn't understand that until I've made it here. There's going to be so many struggles in your life, growing as a teenager, growing as an adult. I definitely learned that at this stage of my life. I had gotten taken out of public school to get put into homeschool. So I begged my parents for so long to be homeschooled, and they finally surprised me and my little sister on Christmas, actually, that they were pulling us out of public school to put us in homeschool. And it was really exciting for me, but like it just didn't feel real. So I got into homeschool and I was doing online homeschool, so it was a little hard because I usually don't do school online. It was really hard. The fact that I had to do my schoolwork on a computer and I didn't have someone actually physically teaching me things that I was learning, and so my brain was kind of like all over the place, but it happened. And I love to be home and I love to be with my family, obviously, but I didn't know that it was going to be a really tough situation. A lot of other kids are in homeschool, like remote learning, and now they're seeing how actual homeschoolers live. I love homeschool, but I'm ready to go back to public school. I really am. So I'm leaving to public school for my high school year. But anyway, moving on to the next part of the story. Anyway, so I got out that I didn't know that my social life was going to be very sad. So I did lose a lot of my friends. I did lose strong relationships that I had with my friends, and those bonds quickly broke. And so I kind of just started being at home by myself, talking to myself all the time. At the beginning of the year, I was still talking to a lot of my friends, and so I was at home all the time. I didn't have the best friend group, and so I began having anxiety, and I did start my YouTube channel in March, I believe, I don't know, somewhere around there. And that's when COVID and stuff started coming. I became very lonely. So my anxiety got really strong, and I was always anxious and I didn't know what to do with myself. I lost my relationship with God. Really became someone I didn't know I was becoming. So in that stage, I started listening to music I never listened to. I started hanging around with people that I never hang around with. I started becoming influenced by those that I shouldn't become influenced by. It was a really struggle for me. I always have that little voice inside of me that's like, no, that's not what you're supposed to listen to. You don't listen to this stuff. Like, why are you listening to this? Like, it would always like play on, and I would always ignore that voice. And so it was really tough for me to realize that I'm more than whatever I thought I was. I mean, it was a really stressful time in my life. I didn't understand. I wasn't comprehending a lot of things that I normally would. During these times, I was really independent. I was really isolating myself, and my mom came up with the idea of creating my YouTube channel. And I was like, oh yeah, like I'm definitely down to do this. She's like, I think you should help influence others. And I'm like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Let's do it. And so I did it. I came on here and I started talking and I started doing what I love to do. And I was so distracted and such in a different mindset. It was so hard for me to be consistent with making videos for you guys and being here and talking to you guys, because I know that I wasn't in the right stage in my life. I was so confused. I felt like if I was being tugged in two different worlds, like I was being tugged by the world I know I belong in, which is following the path of Christ and being where I'm supposed to be. And I was being dragged by what the world has to say, what the world listens to, what the world does. And I had this friend that I would talk to every day, and I would tell that friend about what I was going through, and I felt that, but that person doesn't have that relationship with God that I know that I have. And it was really hard because I wanted to say so much about God, and I wanted to say how I felt about the situation, and I wanted to say so much, but I knew I couldn't because of that person's beliefs and that person's, the way they see God in their eyes, if that makes sense. And it was such a struggle because I was doing things on my own and I wasn't talking to my mom about everything because I didn't know how to. I was so independent. I was like isolating myself. I was in my room all the time. I would cry and I would cry and I would cry because I felt like I was in a dark place. My room was like my sanctuary. I was in my room all the time. I am in my room all the time because my room is just my favorite place to be in. I remember just being so lost and so drenched with so much fear and so much anxiety and so much I had to say, but I couldn't say it. And I mean, social media is really a hard thing to be committed to and have, because social media can just drag you down. The way people think, the way people say things really can hurt you. And it was a struggle for me, honestly. All of that, I did feel like I had to remove a lot of people in my life, and I remember just crying and asking God, help me, be here for me. I want to hear you again. I want you to be there for me again. And God has always been there for me. Like, no matter how much struggle I go through, no matter what I go through, I know that the presence of God is where I belong. Because through all of that and through everything I've gone through in my life, even before this situation, or even before this time in my life, He has always been faithful to us. And I wouldn't be here in the home that I am today, and the place that I'm in today, and the family I'm with today, if it wasn't for Him. I mean, He has restored my heart, He has restored my life, He has restored everything. And I've noticed that I had to eliminate so many people in my life. There are a lot of people that need to be eliminated in your life for you to see the things that God has for you. And sometimes it really hurts to let go of those and let go of people you love. But trust me, it's so worth it at the end. Once you let them go, like, God has so much in store for you, because their time could be up you gave them what they needed and they gave you what you needed, and it's just your time to keep moving. I remember talking to my mom, and she was talking to me about this friend thing, and she was telling me there's sometimes you have to let people go, and like the phrase I just said before, they give you what you need, you give them what they need, and they just move on because God has something better for you. I get so attached to people, and it's a really hard thing to let go. And I mean, it's the worst thing when you have to let go someone that you really truly love and someone that you really truly are holding on to because you don't want to let them go. During the times I was trying to save other people, literally trying to wave in their face because he's gonna come and your time's gonna be up. And I wanted them so badly to be in the presence of God. I was literally trying to force them to drink the water and be in the presence of God in there when they don't want to be in there. So I was listening to one of my favorite songs, and I remember I didn't even pay attention to the beginning, and he was talking and he was saying something, but I never really listened to it. And then when I was actually listening to words at the beginning of the song, he was saying, only God can heal the wounds of others. And oftentimes we find ourselves trying to play God in somebody else's life, but we just have to let go and let God be God. And that literally broke me. It's so true. We really do find ourselves trying to be God in somebody else's life when we can't do that. We just have to pray for them and just believe that God will change their life. But we can't go ahead and force them to grow that seed when that's God's job. So that really got me there. I remember getting a message and saying that the youth wanted me to work with them, and I was like, oh Jesus, like, this is a big job, but I'm so down for it. And so I'm working with the youth team now. I just got the standoff shirt. And I'm so lucky and so grateful to work with them and have them as my team. And I'm so pumped to be with them because they're all wonderful people. Sometimes you just feel like nobody's around you, but if you look closely at those that are really near you and those who really care about you. I mean, I don't have anyone like extremely close to me like as I wish I would, but being honest, my mother is my best friend, literally. I tell her everything and we're real with each other, and she really is my best friend. She's mine and my sister's best friend because like all the advice that I get is from her, and trust me, mothers are so helpful. They really are. And I'm so thankful for my mom because without my mom, I don't know where I would be. I wanted to talk to you guys and tell you guys that no matter what you go through, no matter what your circumstances are, God is always going to be there. He's always going to be faithful to you. Always bless your life. Like, sometimes it's a good thing when God takes away somebody that you love or that friend that you love, because that friend could be influencing you in a bad way and you don't even know because you can't even see it. And God is seeing, and He's protecting you from that. And He's only doing what's best for your life because He knows what's going to happen. He has your story written. He knows what's going to happen tomorrow, today, a minute after this. Like, it's so important to get closer to Him and to love Him, because I get to know who He truly is, because He's so faithful and so awesome. So it was a really tough year for me, but I know 2021 is going to be better. Even though this year was a tough year, I have definitely learned so much, and I'm blessed that I went through this stage in my life, because without this stage in my life, I wouldn't know truly who I am. Just blessed to go through that. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this little story of mine because I thought it could influence those who are going through the same thing, who are struggling through the same thing. It's hard, and I know it's hard. So that is what I have. My social medias are linked in the description box below if you guys would like. If you guys need anything, just text me on my Instagram or any of my social medias. I'm open arms to listen to any of you guys and talk to any of you guys. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support and the love. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel down below, so every time I post you guys are notified. I love you guys so much. Stay faithful and love others.